I don't believe in that. I think in-ear monitors do more damage to ears than actually just cranking the amp and being away from it.
Wait. Joe Bonamassa said what about in-ear monitors? Did he really say that? Okay. We need to talk about this. Because when someone with Bonamassa's platform, credibility, and years of experience says something like this, people listen. And that's where, with great power comes great responsibility. And I'm not just quoting Spider-Man here for the fun of it. In the digital world, opinions spread fast. But when does an opinion become fact? And when is it worth following? And when should you stop and think twice before taking it as truth? In this video, we're going to unpack that comment that Joe Bonamassa made in an interview with Gibson Gear Guide about in-ear monitors. Since this channel is all about helping musicians and engineers understand the tools we use, especially in-ear monitors, I thought it'd be worth giving our 2 cents. Are we right and Joe is wrong? Or is there more nuance here? Let's dig in. Hi, I'm E with Mixing Pixels, where we teach audio through video. This is the first ever video on this channel where we react to someone's opinion. We usually don't do this, but we teach audio through video. And a big part of teaching and learning happens when you address opinions from others, especially from people who have the privilege of holding a big platform and who have people's ears and attention. And that's why we consider this a topic worthy of a video. I want to say from the start, if you're expecting a video where we will talk trash about Bonamassa, then you are in the wrong video. We will not attack the man or his extensive and successful career as a guitar player. We will be addressing his opinion on in-ear monitors, and we will explain why you should or shouldn't pay attention to what he said. But first things first. Some of you are wondering, who is Joe Bonamassa? Joe Bonamassa is an American blues and rock guitarist and singer born in 1977. He's been performing since he was 12, even opening shows for B.B. King as a kid. Since then, he's released 15 albums, earned Grammy nominations, and played with some of the biggest names in blues and rock. Beyond his playing, he's also known for his obsession with vintage guitars and gear. In a nutshell, Bonamassa's got the skill and the chops for the job. He has a very extensive career. He's earned his place in the world of blues and guitar players, and he's obsessed with gear and tone. Instead of just reacting to a 15-second clip, we decided to go and watch the whole interview so that we would get the full context of what he said. So let's get the positive stuff done before we move to the in-ear monitors part. I must say, the guy really knows gear and tone. It is really impressive the amount of knowledge that he has on amps, guitars, pedals, and tone in general. If you're a guitar player, you can definitely learn a lot from him. Having said that, let's go ahead and watch the clip and hear what he said about in-ear monitors.
There's not much more perceived volume. I mean, the amp is as loud as it's going to get around 4, 5, and 6, or 2 o'clock.
We might be saving the ears of many music stores across America by just turning pots now before we plug into a guitar. You might have saved ears across America.
I don't believe in that. I think in-ear monitors do more damage to ears than actually just cranking the amp and being away from it. Because it's just like having all you can't get out of it. It's just directly to the eardrum. And I also think a guitar amp sounds better if it's working and breathing, not if it's super low and the PA is doing the work. Now, the PA has to do some of the work because you can't be like, Blue Cheer. And
sure.
Or, not everybody could be, Angus Young and use 9 full stacks all the way up.
Yeah.
That's because they play stadiums and that's what they've always done.
Right.
But you want to pick.
What do you think of what he said? Leave a comment about what you thought. Here is where Bonamassa is dead wrong. The Gibson interview was not even talking about in-ear monitors. They were having a great conversation on amps, and Bonamassa was explaining how he dials the knobs to get the sound he's looking for. He stated that you don't need the amp at full volume to get a great sound. The interviewer then says, "Oh, you might have saved ears across America." That's when out of nowhere, he takes a stab at in-ear monitors. Huh? Did he hear what the interviewer said? Makes you think, right? In-ear monitors were not the focus of this conversation. Then why such a sudden veer to it? Not sure, but here we are talking about it. He said that he doesn't believe in in-ear monitors and claims they are more damaging because they go straight to your eardrum. But minutes later, he says that where he stands, volume is around 115 dB. Most musicians run their in-ear packs at around 85 to 95 dBs. And he's been playing like that for the last 35 plus years. I wonder what we would see if he goes to an audiologist and checks his hearing. In-ear monitors actually protect your ears from the loud cymbals, the loud drums, and the loud guitar amps by sealing your ears. This is not an opinion. There's been numerous studies and research done about this. You can't pretend to be deaf to something just because you don't want to hear it. Wow. He said, there is no escape from in-ear monitors like there is from his amps and wedges. But what about the volume knob on the in-ear monitor pack? If you're blasting your ears at full volume, guess whose fault that is? That already tells me there is something wrong with your hearing. What about common sense? Yes, you could put that in-ear monitor pack at full volume, but is that the sensible thing to do? Is that wise? Come on, if you don't have that common sense, then I don't know what to tell you. It is like driving down the highway at 150 kilometers per hour when it is raining. Can you do it? Yes. Is it wise to do it? No. He gets the whole PA and guitar amps dynamics wrong. Bonamassa basically says that the PA supports his amps, but that the real sound should come from the amp itself. The problem is that only works for him and the few people standing right in front of it. Everyone else hears what the microphone picks up from the amp and sends it to the PA because this is what carries the whole mix to the whole room. So if you think that the guitar amp should do most of the work, ask yourself, what about the fan who bought last-minute tickets to the concert and ended up in the back of the venue? They're definitely not hearing the amp. They are hearing whatever the mic on the amp sends to the PA. So, no, in-ear monitors are not more harmful than a guitar amp. But pay attention, here's the bigger lesson. It's not just about whether Bonamassa is right or wrong. It's about how you make these choices as a musician. To round this video up, let's look at 4 things every musician should think about before making up their mind about in-ear monitors. 1. With great power comes great responsibility. This is how we started the video. Bonamassa has decades of experience, but even the best get things wrong. An opinion, no matter how respected the source is, does not automatically become fact. That applies to Bonamassa, me, and anyone else saying or teaching anything online. Always fact check. Always think critically. 2. Don't burn bridges. Make bridges. Imagine if Bonamassa had said, I don't like in-ear monitors, but they work for a lot of musicians. This is just my way. That leaves the door open. As musicians, we gain nothing by talking down on or about others. Respect differences. Share experiences. Wouldn't that make working in the music scene a lot more enjoyable? 3. Amps sound amazing, but not the way you think. Yes, cranking up a tube amp such as a Vox AC30 or a Fender Deluxe or a Mesa Boogie triple rectifier is pure magic up close. When the tubes are hot and the speakers are pushing air, the growl and the feel are unbeatable. But here's the catch. Only you and maybe a few other people near the amp hear that sound. The rest of the room hears what's coming through the microphone in front of the amp, not the amp itself. That's why guitar players and sound engineers often argue, "It sounds fine to me," versus "It's too loud or too bright in the mix." They are literally hearing two different things. With in-ear monitors, you don't have to fight snare or cymbals to hear yourself. You hear the real mic'd sound of your amp, the same one the audience is hearing. You can still love and enjoy amps, but there are smarter ways to use them without blasting 115 dBs on stage and risking your ears every night. 4. You decide what devices you want to use in your ears. You can decide to use in-ear monitors now or hearing aids later. Your choice. And by later, I don't mean in your 60s and 70s, I mean in the next 5 to 10 years. Hearing loss is real. Tinnitus is real. Take this seriously if you want to keep performing later in life. So, is Bonamassa wrong? Is he right? Are we wrong? Let us know in the comments. Also, if you've been trying to convince a fellow guitar player to switch to in-ear monitors, share this video with them. And remember, great sound is always within your reach. Unless you're already deaf, then there's nothing you can do.